Every morning we are born again, and what we do today is what matters the most. And that's what we are trying to do in this series. Every morning we are going to do some questions that matters the most for your SEBI General Examination 2024. So hello everyone, my name is Prateek Taldar. By qualification, I'm a chartered accountant. In this series, we are going to target 300 questions for your SEBI General Examination. So let's get the discussion started. In the last video, we were discussing about this question. So thank you so much for all your responses. The correct answer to this question is D. So the question was, what does it means when demand is described as perfectly inelastic? So basically the demand is not moving according to the price. That's why it's perfectly inelastic. So the correct answer is D. Demand does not change regardless of the price changes. So the demand is not giving any kind of response in regard to the change in the prices. That's called perfectly inelastic demand. Now let's discuss some new questions. So the first question is, which of the following set of activities are included in the bookkeeping process? So we all know that there are two parties in the accounting, right? First one is the bookkeeper, second one is the accountant. So bookkeeper handles the clerical level task and the accountant handles the finalization task. Now let's have a look at all the options. First one is the decision making. No, bookkeeper is not involved in decision making, is not involved in financial analysis as well as auditing. So the first option is wrong. Second one is budgeting and forecasting. Bookkeeper is not involved in these kind of activities. So the second option is also wrong. Third option is identification of transaction, recording in the journal and posting to the ledger. Now this option is correct because that's the work of a bookkeeper is. He identifies the transaction, record it in journal and post the same to the ledger. D option is summarization, analysis and interpretation. Again, this is the work of an accountant. Tax filing, compliance, statutory reporting. These are the functions of accountant and not the bookkeeper. So the correct answer is C. Identification, recording and posting it to the ledger. That's what the work of bookkeeper is. After posting to the ledger, we have the task of summarization, like preparing the trial balance, balance sheet, profit and loss account. These are the areas where the accountant is involved and not the bookkeeper. So I hope it's clear now. Second question is, revenue and expenses must be recorded in the accounting period in which they were earned or incurred, no matter when cash receipt or outlay occurs. So there is a statement which I keep on telling in class. Transactions are recorded in the period in which they takes place, not when settlement in money takes place. So some of the students might be thinking that, sir, this is the accrual concept of accounting. But in options, we can't find accrual. So mercantile basis accounting is another name of accruals. So you must be knowing this thing. Mercantile basis of accounting is nothing but your accrual accounting only. So the correct answer is A. Transactions are recorded in the period in which they takes place, not when settlement in money takes place. Next question is, a company purchases a car for 3 lakh rupees. Great. So we are having a car which is an asset. So there is a 3 lakh worth increment in our asset column. Paying 50,000 in cash. So there is a 50,000 decrement now in our asset because cash is going out. And by borrowing 2,50,000. So the transaction is we bought a car of 3 lakh, right? By paying 50,000 in cash, rest of the 2,50,000 we took loan, right? So here I can see that there is 2,50,000 increment in asset, net increment in my asset column. And a corresponding increase in my liability because I have taken a loan of 2,50,000. So this will be the net impact on my accounting equation. We all know that accounting equation is nothing but asset is equal to liability plus capital. We discussed this question in first part of our video that accounting equation is asset is equal to liability plus capital. In this question, we are evaluating the impact of this transaction on the accounting equation. So the net assets will increase by 2,50,000 and the liabilities will also get increased by 2,50,000. So C is the correct choice here. So the basic accounting chapters आपके बहुत ही strong होने चाहिए. उसके अंदर से बहुत सारे questions you will get in the examination. Next question is, which exchange was recognized as the world's largest derivative exchange by the number of contracts traded in 2023? तो 2023 में which was the world's largest derivative exchange in terms of number of contracts? Number of contracts के हिसाब से सबसे बड़ा derivative exchange कौन सा था? We are having some exchange names in the options. The correct answer is National Stock Exchange of India. is the world's largest derivative exchange in terms of number of contracts traded. तो आपका NSE इतना बड़ा हो चुका है number of contracts के अंदर derivative market के अंदर. Next question is, how do forward contract and future contract differ in terms of standardization? So this question is again related to your finance part, particularly your derivative chapter. So question में पूछा गया है कि forward contract and future contract में क्या difference होता है in terms of standardization. So basically forward contracts are your over the counter वाले contracts and your future contracts are exchange traded. अब जाहिर सी बात है, अगर कोई exchange पे trade होगा, right? If something is regulated by exchange, then it will be definitely a standardized contract, and the forward contracts are not standardized. They can be easily customized by the parties involved in it. So A, only the future contracts are standardized is the correct choice here. This topic of derivative is again very, very important. So you must be aware of the basics of derivative very well. Next is, what are the key characteristics of transactional leaders? So the options are guiding, mentoring, motivating. Next is guiding, commanding. No, transactional leaders are not commanding. Guiding, demonstrating. Demonstrating is again the wrong answer. Guiding, mentoring and demonstrating, again demonstrating. So this option is also not correct. Guiding, ordering. No. So A, guiding, mentoring and motivating is the correct answer here. That's what transactional leaders do. They are characterized by their skill in guiding, mentoring and motivating. Acha, transactional leadership is also known as managerial leadership. So the focus is on supervision, organization and group performance. This question is obviously related to your management subject. How does lateral communication in an organization occur? The information passes upward or the information passes downward, or is a kind of two-way process in any direction, or the information passes between different department and functions. So your D choice is the correct answer. Lateral communication passes between different departments and functions within the organization. तो आपका different departments जो होते हैं उसके अंदर जो communication हो रहा होता है, pass हो रहा होता है, that is your lateral communication. अच्छा, one thing to note here is this is also called as horizontal communication. अच्छा, क्योंकि ये दो departments के बीच में हो रहा है, right? तो department तो similar level पे हैं, तो this is called as horizontal communication also. Say for example, a manager of marketing department is interacting with manager of finance department. So this is lateral communication. Next question, and which is related to costing subject, is if the sales of organization is 1 lakh rupees, the fixed cost is 12,000 and the profit is 8,000. We need to calculate the PV ratio, which is the profit volume ratio. So what is the formula to calculate PV ratio? It's contribution upon sales into 100. This question is from the topic of marginal costing, which is very, very important for your examination. Definitely इसके अंदर से आपको कुछ questions examination में मिल सकते हैं. So now some of you must be thinking कि सर यहाँ पे variable cost तो दे ही नहीं रखी है, variable cost is not given. So कोई टेंशन वाली बात यहाँ पे नहीं है. We have the fixed cost amount and we have the profit amount. अच्छा, contribution is nothing but a total of fixed cost plus your profit element, right? So I can easily compute the contribution, which will be 20,000 rupees. So here I don't need the fixed cost wala amount because in the formula I need contribution. I have calculated it. Sales, it is already given in the question. So the answer will be 20,000, which is your contribution, divided by sales of 1 lakh into 100. So this is 20%. So the correct answer here is option C. Next question is, a company is considering whether to continue renting machine or to purchase it overnight. The cost of renting the machine over the past years represent which cost? So we all know that the past year cost is obviously your sunk cost. जो हो चुका है वो हो चुका है past में, right? It doesn't matter in the present decision making because this is a cost which was incurred in past. So this is sunk cost. Option C is your correct answer. Last question, and obviously last question का answer तो you guys will give. Which country was the first to adopt inflation targeting concept? So please give me answers in the comment section and we'll be discussing this question in the next coming video. So thank you so much for watching this video patiently. I hope ये sessions आपके लिए helpful हो रहे होंगे. If these sessions are adding value, then please let me know in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching this video. Join iExamB and prepare 50% faster.